Hello there, everyone. This is Soul Super 17 here, and let me review this like usual. I do not own this picture. This is not a paid video. Alright, okay. So, here's the thing. I know I was gonna say what I said in the Psyche, or no, not in the Psyche, in the Meliodas what if. What Deku was the reincarnation of Meliodas. Um, I just realized I have to get most of these, I still have, a couple of what ifs that, I gotta make. Um, there's even one where I want to make, but you know, But hey, I just said I'll make that another day. But yeah, I just had to get this what if out. The Ainz, as Asta, Issei Doomslayer. And there was another Issei one I wanted to do. Oh, the Nero one, yeah. So I have to get those what ifs out before I do any of the past what ifs. Alright. Well, any more like part twos and such. But I'm gonna be doing the Issei Gogeta one. Oh yeah, there's even the Issei Spider-Man one I want to do, where it's I take multiple abilities from each spider, Spider Gwen, or really just Ghost Spider, world. I have it then it basically goes to Miles, like electricity, and then maybe another. Well, I wanted to be regular Spider-Man. Ghost Spiders. Well, even though she lost her power, she got an artificial symbiote, which is Venom, and in her world and such, and that they make an artificial spider. Well, no, they make an artificial spider slash vet symbiote, and it has the DNA of Spider-Man and Miles Morales, Spider abilities. So basically it'll be like a really good thing. I was thinking of. I had the whole idea in my head, and then I kind of go down with the Uncle Ben route with both Issei's father, and Issei's father are scientists. His mother is a robotics. She builds things, and Issei's father is a scientist, and Issei's been hiding his intelligence, and he's been acting the way he does, and he doesn't show it. And his parents actually can build things, small scale things that are highly advanced, and they have friends in both the science community and the robotics community to even build government level stuff. So sorry about that. That's my dad. I have to take care of the fire, and he's just complaining about his hand, carpal tunnel plus infection of the nail. Yay, fun. But anyways, so yeah, this is a what if Deku was what if Deku was a quirkless villain, but the difference is though he has samurai. He's being trained by the ghost of demonized Kyo. If you don't know who he is, alright, that's okay. I'm not gonna say the story. Just look him up. Look on the Wikipedia. Don't watching anime if you're under, well, freaking, if you're under the recommended age. Alright. um, you know. So here's the thing. Demonized Kyo, I think became a god. A god of I had it written down. I don't know where I wrote it. Wait a minute. I was wrong. No, he became a king, a true crimson king. But yeah, he could die of old age. So yeah. But anyways, so basically, I though have been reading a lot of webtoons today. Well, just one webtoon story, and it's called A Weak Hero. Well, not says A, it just says Weak Hero, and I'm gonna make Izuku Midoriya a little bit like the main character in that, but He's not going to. He's gonna be, trained by Kyo, which his soul is bound to his sword, and it's called Tenro, one of the four demon blades, which is right in this picture. So I'm not gonna go over his style because I'm gonna go over that later. Well, his swordsman style, which Kyo would teach Deku. He will be a villain, but a villain who does not kill heroes. I mean, he won't kill heroes that much. He'll become a somewhat of a villain that kills heroes, but it's more of the lines where they don't give him a choice, and also he has found something that they've done, and like he'll be protecting certain areas of a part of the city, and will be amazed how much like crime rate has gone down. He'll be protecting it. Say like it's like an area where no heroes go to. Izuku will basically go to that area and take care of everything. And well, if you knew who Demon Eyes Kyo is, he has killed 1,000 men in battle. So yeah, Izuku's just gonna kill them. And the swordsman style you will find out. But yeah, anyways, I want to get into this. Sorry about the noise. I really apologize. I'm not in my room because I gotta take care of the fire. And by the time this what if is gonna be coming out, it's gonna be like probably 2 something in the morning to maybe 3. And I'll make what ifs tomorrow. I'm not gonna be going anywhere anyways. It's just a lot of stuff happened today. So yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of me like just reading, not making what ifs. Sorry. It's just got too into reading. So yeah. Anyways, so this is what Deku became a villain. Also, I do know what you guys asked me, I did ask for those, like, give me, like, ideas for, like, a quirk, the weakest quirk, weakest, like, power he can ever have. And I just thought the weakest thing, like, he doesn't have a quirk, and then he just becomes really strong by training with a sword, and will be the most dangerous person to be trained in him in the ways of the ways to fight. And this guy popped in my head. So yeah, also, I don't know who's gonna be the ship. Don't know, but I do not want to go with Uraka, Momo, Jiro, or Mina. And Cammy I'm okay with. Ninja somewhat. Probably do somebody from class 1B. Or May. Well, that is if I have him be captured and they literally trained him on the ways of being a hero, but he's allowed to kill. Because the way he freaking is a villain. And I'm not having him like freaking skip the whole entire second damn middle school thing. No, I'm not gonna skip that. But anyways, let's get into this. This is what if Zuko became a villain. A quirkless villain. Part 1. Alright. So, we're starting off with Zuko at the age of 4 years old. He's excited that he's gonna find out what quirk he has. That way, Bakugo will be his friend, because Bakugo told him, if you don't have a quirk, I won't be your friend, basically, because Bakugo got his quirk pretty early. Earlier than Deku, like, a couple months. So, Deku, was excited and everything else. And then what happens is he finds out you're quirkless, the doctor says. Not the same doctor. No, actually, yes. The same doctor. Yes, the same doctor from Canon tells him he doesn't have a quirk. And, well, he is devastated. Inko does exactly the same, as soon as, Inko just says, what? As the doctor explained about it. So basically, what happens is, when they get home, Inko does exactly, the same thing at Canon. I'm not changing Inko in this one. I'm still making her the 11-monther she is. So yeah. So basically though, what happens is, we're doing time skip. Over the years, Zuko has been getting bullied. He's found out that Bakugo says he's gonna become the #1 hero and everything, and he goes, but how can he become the #1 hero when he acts like a villain? So he starts digging, finding actual facts about people complaining about heroes that he would have, like, he at first threw it off. This is like when he's 10 years old. He started looking at the internet about heroes and such, and he's been finding out that people have been talking about heroes, saying some heroes are just in it for the money. He knows this is true, but he starts reading, he starts digging deeper and deeper. He finds out that some heroes work with the Yakuza. He looks up what the Yakuza is, and he finds out mafia. He's like, what the? And then he sees, like, he actually has, like, some people actually saying some villains have actually let people die or killed, have let innocent people died and killed the villains. Just because, like, they say, and then, they falsified the report saying, oh, he was trying to kill this civilian, or he killed this civilian and such. And really, it was them. They put the blame on the villains. He goes, what the heck? And, All Might, he realized All Might became the symbol of peace, Hero Society became Bear, and people who were good intentions are being overshadowed by people with bad intentions. And he's like, he even looked about some villains who actually gave testimonies and actual reports saying, like, they only did this villainy because of people called them a villain when they were younger. People started to, hurt them, so they decided to become it. And it's not their fault, but society doesn't see it as that. And so Zuko kind of thinks about it. So he looks at that quirk, and he can see how people think it's villainous. And people would treat them badly for, basically, it's just annoying him. And he starts to hate society, the hero society, the people picking on the people who have villain quirks. And then since he's been getting bullied by Bakugo, he's been getting tired of it. He doesn't see Bakugo as a hero. And so he decides to at least train his body from 11 to 13 years old. So 3 years of training. Just physical fitness. Has no technique, no skill. And he has cannon body. No, he has probably the body for... the body in the Forest training arc right now, but he doesn't let no one know. And so, no. I said, no, forget what I said. No, Izuku thinks about training, and he does only the bare minimum, which, Inko found out and supported him on this. But she's been kind of worried because he doesn't talk about villains no more. He doesn't look at heroes. I mean, he doesn't talk about heroes. I mean, not villains. He doesn't look at heroes the same way as he did, as he did when he was a kid. He doesn't see heroes the same way anymore. She's worried about this. But she doesn't want to ask, because he's actually finding ways of which villains could have been heroes and which heroes could be villains, really. And, well, he can't do nothing about it, but he's just seeing it as this. So he just decides that one of these days, if he has to choose to become a hero or a villain, he'd rather go down the route of being a villain, but to protect those that needs it. To become the villain that society needs right now. The one that people need. A villain that will protect the weak and the strong from people that will do harm, and make sure and actually make sure that people know the truth. Simple enough, he thinks. But then he realizes this is gonna be hard. I don't have a quirk. So yeah, that was the age of 12 when he thought about that. So we're gonna go to the day of the cannon. And everything's different though. Everyone in the school is afraid of Bakugo. No one will, boo him or anything. Izuku has been acting the same way. He did apply to UA, but he's not really gonna go. He only did because of, he promised his mom. He said he'll apply, but he won't go to UA and do the test. Which, she's upset by that. She goes, why? He goes like, and he finally just tells the truth. He goes, because Bakugo, if he's going there, I don't want to go to that piece of crap school. And her eyes widen, and she goes, why? It's Bakugo. And he says, Bakugo has not been my friend ever since he found out I didn't have a quirk, Mom. Get it through your head. He's a villain who's thinking he's a hero, and I don't want to be in a school that will accept someone like him. In which her eyes widen. He basically says, and that was like the night before he applied to UA. So he just says, I'm going to bed. He leaves with he doesn't look angry, but he said with a tone of anger, but his eyes kind of to her looked like a snake, like she was not seeing Zuko like the way that she would have seen her son. It's like she was seeing a different person. So yeah, and that's why. So basically, though, the teacher, says, I know you don't want. He's not enthusiastic. He's stuttering because Buck goes in the room. So he was like, I know everyone here wants to become a hero, and not many people applied. Only 2 in the school. Oh yeah, Izuku Midori is smart in this one, like really smart, and he's like, he's basically one of the top students along with Bakugo. So basically, he says, Bakugo Katsuki wants to go in. And, Bakugo says exactly the same speech, but no one boos him or anything. And he says, Izuku Midori too. And everyone looks, and Izuku's just in his book, just being calm and just studying ahead of everyone. That's how he's been doing it all these years, and Bakugo's been not paying attention. Only a few times he's been, beating him up has gone less and less and less, because he never talks about becoming a hero no more. So Bakugo thinks, oh, he doesn't want to become a hero, I don't have to, pick on him no more. And then he goes, and then basically he looks at him, Deku, who's like, why? Has he been hiding his intentions all this time? Has he been looking down at me still? Blah, blah, blah. Egomaniac right now. Angry Pomeranian mode activated. Okay, I need to stop with the Angry Pomeranian, but it's true. But anyways, so Izuku is just looking at the teacher. He goes like, oh, sorry, I was reading ahead. You said something about UA, and then I stopped listening. And he says, you wanted to get in UA? He goes like, yeah, not really. Which everyone goes like, what? Even Bakugo was like, if I'm gonna be going to UA, I don't want to be with that guy in my class, or actually in any part of UA. Look at everyone in this school. Which everyone's just shocked that he's, wait, hold on. Sorry, the fire was going out, so I had to do something. But everyone's just shocked that he's pointing to Bakugo and just talking about him, and the teachers haven't done nothing. Like, they know Bakugo pays on him once in a while, and it's really bad, but they're scared. So they don't know, his homeroom teacher especially doesn't know what to do. He's like, Zuko, please, I don't want you to get hurt. They care about him a lot. He's a kind student, he helps out, and he actually makes sure other students actually get to the nurse's office, and then he helps them patch them up. So the students in his class love him. Even though he's quirkless, they consider him hero material. And then basically he goes on like, yeah, actually, why would they let somebody that bullies everyone in school, hurts them severely with his explosions, and honestly acts like he's the boss of everyone, just because he has a freaking ego? Really, why would anyone want someone to be a hero anyways, if that's the next number one? I wouldn't. Honestly, I'd rather just be someone like a villain. I mean, at least then I'll actually have a chance to survive. protect people if I ever wanted to. It's not, and I don't have to follow any rules of society. Oh wait, that heroes make up. If you really all think about it, has anyone ever noticed that some villains, go to jail that don't really seem right? And some people, even the teacher, says, yeah. Actually, like, yeah. I done a little bit of research ever since I was 9 to 10, 9 to 10 years old. Some villains actually gone to jail because some heroes actually framed them. And you know how? I analyzed their quirks. And from the death of the person, and the report on it by the news and the newspapers, and any website that has news on it, they even gave some details on the wounds. Didn't add up to the villain's quirk, as he says. And Bakugo was just going, what? So he says, yeah. So basically, some villains went to jail for no reason. I came up with the conclusion. But hey, that's just a theory I made up. Or I came up with. I don't know. But that's just a little topic I wanted to share. As some people actually question now Hero Society, and he just smiles about that little. And then he goes, oh yeah, what was I saying? Oh, Bakugo, yeah. Which everyone's just shocked because he's been putting on the persona that he still thinks he says Kachan, but he's been saying it with acting like his old self, scared, you know, throughout the first day of him, middle school, but then he kind of slowly stopped. But it's always been in the class. People who are not in the class, or who knows Zuku outside of school, they always hear him talk saying, "That Bakugo is such an idiot. He thinks he's better than everyone else. I bet without his quirk, I could easily beat him." So, yeah, I mean, so the people in that class are just laughing. Well, the people who know him are laughing, which Bakugo hears, and he goes like, yeah, Bakugo's not really hero material, but hey, whatever, the great Bakugo Katsuki could become the #1 hero. And then they find out he bullies kids in middle school, and throughout his whole entire life, he kept on picking on a quirkless kid. That looks good as publicity, doesn't it? And then the teacher actually starts laughing, and Bakugo says, "Why you say, you shitty nerd?" As then he does try to make the explosion on his desk, and Deku just all of a sudden throws his desk up to Bakugo's hand, and the explosion happens, but it happens more towards Bakugo, which sends him flying to the ground. As then Deku immediately gets up after he threw the desk. No, after Bakugo hits the ground, he immediately gets up, grabs his chair, and then just starts wailing on Bakugo. Because Deku had enough, and he planned this. He's been planning this for a while. I mean, he sort of just planned this right in an instance. He just wailed on Bakugo with his chair 3 times until Bakugo, threw an explosion. And well, Deku knew it was gonna happen. So basically, he threw the chair right to an explosion. And it goes flying. He basically dodges and gets onto Bakugo and just starts wailing on him. Which then Bakugo actually tries to throw an explosion to Deku's face. But Deku immediately grabbed his hand, his arm, his wrist, and shoves his own hand into his face, which causes him to explode on Bakugo's. Bakugo's explosion hits him in his own face. And then he just starts punching Bakugo even more. And Bakugo's face is getting bloodied. So then he just throws Bakugo into the wall. And he hits it, and then as you know, Bakugo's about to, getting up, and then he basically had to turn his head, then put his hand on the wall so that way he can get up. And when he looks, he just sees Deku's leg going into his face, and then he hits the wall again and gets knocked out. Deku had nothing on his. Deku only had a book, and that was it. So basically, he just grabs his book, grabs his table. The chair was near already where it was, so he just puts everything. He puts the table up, then he puts the book on the table, then gets the chair, and acts like nothing ever happened. And everyone just was in shock. And the teacher just says, "All right, let's start class." And Bakugo's KO'd, he's knocked out. His goons couldn't do nothing. Legit, it was too quick, and Deku just pretended like it never happened. So, near the end of the day, the teacher says, "Oh, get Bakugo Katsuki to a nurse's office, please. Izuku Midoriya, good luck to you. Good job." And he goes off to the principal's office. the principal even knew about Bakugo was getting too overconfident. So he basically told him, and he says, Bakugo Katsuki is going to the nurse's office for being beaten, beaten on. And he goes like, wait, who did this? And he goes like, oh, I don't know. All I know is I just saw him, he was just like all bloody. I found him in the hallway. I don't know who did it. I don't know. And no one's gonna tell. Not even Bakugo's goons. Because that's what Deku did. They think that was a fluke. But in reality, they know it wasn't. They kind of saw the eyes of Izuku and the eyes of Deku, and it looked like it was an animal right in front of them, like something they don't want to mess with. And so Izuku, like some of the people in his classroom just come up to him and saying good job, some kids are high-fiving him, some girls actually hug him, and he just smiles. He goes, it's nothing. I just got tired of that freaking Pomeranian. I hate him so much, so it felt good to blow off some steam. And some guys actually say, here, we actually made a bet seeing like his friend group. He has like 20 people in his classroom that are his friends, including girls. So he's not like afraid to talk to girls. They basically say, if you ever want to talk, here's our numbers. Like one day, because they saw him like bleed and everything. And believe it or not, Izuku has gone to fights secretly. So yeah, this wasn't his first rodeo in a fight. So yeah, but anyways, his friends are girls. Ask him if he's gonna become a hero. Really, he goes like, nah, legit. I'm not lying. I'm not gonna become a hero. And they say, well, you can become a villain. He goes like, I don't know, but if I do, I'm gonna become a hero who protects the weak. And honestly, I don't know how though, but I'm not gonna become a hero because of freaking Bakugo. So it's whatever. And he just grabs his bag and leaves. He goes, everything similar goes canon. He goes underneath the passway. People actually did give him money. So he's about to go get it, get a soda. And maybe buy some food for his, mom and him to eat tonight. Basically, the people who betted money on basically knew that Deku was going to fight, do this to Bakugo on the last day of school. And, well, what he did was really amazing. So, they bet that Deku would basically beat him to a pulp and the teacher wouldn't do nothing. And Deku says, I bet I'll hurt him so badly that he'll be covered in his own blood. So, yeah. So basically he betted 200 yen. Everyone bet freaking much more than him. He won. He got basically 1,000 yen in one day. But he does not. No. 3,000 yen in one day, which he just smiles. So yeah. So he goes, underneath the pass. The same thing happens with the sludge villain. But Izuku's more of a fighter, so he tries to struggle. All Might comes in. He does a Detroit Smash. And what else happens? Yeah. He launches on. He gets an autograph signed. He latches onto All Might. The sludge villain doesn't come out because I don't want him to go save Bakugo. So yeah. And then and basically, Izuku basically, I'm just gonna say Izuku for now on. Not Deku. I've been saying Deku for the longest time on my video, so yeah. So Deku just says, "Oh my, I have a question to ask you." And it's not that, it's this. Could a quirkless person become a hero? And right when All Might, opens up, about to open up his mouth, Deku can already see in his eyes. All Might was already thinking a quirkless person cannot become a hero. And then he just puts up his hand and goes like, you already said it all Might. Figure you were going to say that. It's a good thing that's why I stopped idolizing you. He goes, what? It was, how can a quirkless person become a hero? They'll get hurt. They have no power. They can't do anything. Blah, blah, blah. And yet, look at you. Hurt and still being a hero. Honestly, you're pathetic. You're telling me I can't be a hero while you're hurt and you're still being a symbol of peace? I bet one thing happened. That isn't even your power, I bet. Yeah, how would your own quirk work like this? No normal quirk would be able to malfunction on you like that. And you said you've been losing power. Sounds like someone gave you that quirk. Hmm. Were you quirkless too, just like me one time? Which Toshinori, or oh my, kind of has a sweat going down his face. He was like, you were. Wow. The number one hero was quirkless. How ironic. As he has a smile on his face, and he's just giving like a blank stare at All Might right now. Which creeps him, which is kind of scaring him because he sees something totally different standing right in front of him. He just says, "Now, All Might, I'm gonna go, and I'll keep your secret. Alright? Even if I do become a villain, I'll never attack you. This world needs you right now still. But here's the thing. If I become the villain, I'll become the villain that is the symbol of peace and fear in both of the hero and villain society. Understand me?" Oh, hero and villain society, basically. He goes, "What? That'll be impossible." He goes like, "Nothing's impossible when you put your mind to it." "See you around, All Might." And he just turns around and just walks away. He was like, "Oh yeah, thank you for your autograph. I never wanted it." So he just puts his book back in in the bag and such, and just walking away. All Might just thinks, "What did I just witness or heard? I have to." He's quirkless, so he can't become a villain. So Deku just comes out of the building with going down the stairs, comes out of the building, takes a deep breath in, just like that, and just says, "Now where do I go? I still got some time." He just looks and he goes, "Then oh yeah, I forgot. Um, Only somebody could have grabbed the Tenro, which is demonized kill sword. They put like a seal where only someone who kill would deem worthy would be able to unsheath the sword. And it's in the forest, and his spirit has been trapped within the sword, or should I say, a part of the sword for many years now. So he is basically has witnessed the age of quirks and all that. And time has moved on. His spirit is basically not trapped in the sword, but he's a part of it, so he's able to see everything. He's able to travel through stuff. But yeah, anyways, back to it. And then he starts to hear a weird sound coming from this it's very low, but he can hear it. As Zuko basically starting to follow it, he's just thinking, what's going on? Why does no one else hear this sound? So he follows the sound all the way through, he walks for through 2 hours straight. And he finds a temple that is old and abandoned. And wait, hold on. And it looks like it has not been taken care of for many, many, many years. As he just he just basically he walked up steps and he saw this temple basically, he's like, what the? Okay, this is giving me some horror movie, slasher vibes. All right, so he just is hypnotized by the sound, so he follows it anyway, even though his instincts are telling him to run because of the area. I mean, Izuku is still scared, but he's also confident and not fearless at the same time. It's just he just ignoring his instincts basically. So he's walking to where the sound is, he basically finds a seal on a door. He goes, what the? Huh. It's to prevent anyone. I mean, he thinks, it's basically like a seal for him or whatever is in there, but really it's a seal for anyone to get in. To keep them out and to not keep something in. It's to keep them from going into the room. He goes, huh. I wonder if I just, as in, he pushes on the door and it opens up. He was like, um, sorry about ripping your talisman or, whatever it was. If anyone's here, I'm sorry. And the next thing you know, he basically sees something right in the room. Like near the far end of the other, like basically the room is big, and he sees at the far end of the room, covered in shadows a little bit, something long and black, and he doesn't know what it is. So he's walking to it. The sound of humming is getting larger. I mean, it's getting bigger and bigger and louder actually. So then he gets to where it is. What he sees. He sees a sword. A very big sword, actually. Bigger than him. And he's going like, what the? Why? Why has this been humming coming sound from this sword? As all of a sudden, an aura starts to appear around the sword. As then he hears a voice goes like, so you're the one who I've been waiting for to, unsheath this blade of mine. And he goes, what the? Who said that? Basically, he doesn't know what's going on. He's freaking out on the inside. And it shows on the outside a little. Because, don't worry, kid. I've been searching for somebody for many years ever since I died. And you're the perfect candidate, actually. He goes, what? Because this world has become too reliant on the current power system. And people have been misusing it. So, here's the thing. I can help you fulfill your dreams, actually. And you can do whatever you want with the techniques and the abilities you will have from me. He goes, what? He goes, yeah. I mean, it's simple, really. You unsheath the sword, you gain all my abilities and powers. Well, actually, you would if you are a descendant of my clan. Because, wait, clan? He was like, yeah. Hold on. Okay, it's a weird name, but it's Mibu clan. So he just says, the tribe name was the Mibu clan. Also, I don't know what it is, but it's like, I think samurai, samurai clan or something. So yeah, I believe. I'm not 100% sure. I'm like 20% sure. That's it. Alright, but basically he just says, yeah, basically, you'll have my red eyes. But, after that, I mean, you'll have to learn everything on your own, kid. And hey, we'll find out if you are one. If so, then, that means you are a great descendant of mine. Which is kind of shocking, then. That means you may be able to become the Crimson King. Which, Izuku's like, King? He goes, yeah. You have basically tremendous abilities, but hey. You won't know until you are able to unsheath the sword, at least. He goes, huh? But I thought you said, yeah. I know. You know how many people I've actually came here, kid? More than you, actually, throughout the years. Just trying to find a suitable person is hard to find. It's like, I have to choose who's worthy. I don't feel like they're worthy enough. They don't be able to pull the sword out. It's nothing big. It's just like, your eyes will change and maybe your hair will also change color. Permanently, FYI. And which Izuku goes, huh? You mean the hair just dies? He goes, the hair. Alright, I can deal with that. So Izuku grabs, the sword. Well, the sword and the sheep. He goes like, so, what's the name of the blade? He goes, Tenro. One of the 4 demon blades. And the only one for that matter. Well, actually, what I think, there will be others with demon blades too. So don't get your hopes up, kid. He's like, huh, alright. As Izuku kind of struggles a little bit, pulling it out, and Kyo just thinking to himself, this kid can't even pull it out. I'll give it a few minutes. I always made people take longer than them, for him. Heck, even an hour of letting someone try it. I'll wait. So, basically, Izuku's just saying, man, the sword. It's hard for me to, even get the sword out of the sheath. And then he goes, alright. He's just gripping tighter. And then all of a sudden, he starts pulling again with everything he has. As next thing you know, the sword is starting to move, which Kyo is surprised. And then all of a sudden, Izuku feels it. So basically, he pulls out the sword. Well, actually, he pulls the sword and the sheath at exactly the same time, as that the sword is pulled out of the sheath and it's fully out, as Kyo says to himself. So this kid does have what it takes to be the next Demon Eyes, or the 1,000 Manslayer, whichever one comes first. Well, actually, or both actually. So Izuku goes like, huh, this sword's heavy, but if I could get used to it, as then as the spirit of Kyo, the spirit of demonized Kyo is in front of, well, it's coming towards Izuku. Kyo was just clapping his hands. He goes, good job. I didn't think you had it in you, kid. It's been so long since, anyone was able to release the sword from the sheath. So the sword's blade's probably dull. You know any good blacksmiths around here? It's like, no. He goes, it doesn't matter, I know a few. Well, I know a few people who do still blacksmithing on the side. Actually, this place actually does have some yokais here that can actually help you out. He goes, what? Those are demons. There's some blacksmiths. I mean, I won't get affected by the sword. If it's like being reforged. If it breaks, you won't be able to see me for until it's reforged, basically. It's like, alright. First, basically Zuko puts the sword into like the wood. No, he just like holding it there with the tip and like the wood. He was like, so, tell me what I'm gonna be, doing. He's like, well, first off, you're gonna be training with that sword here at the temple. Second, you're gonna be learning my way of fighting. It's you're gonna be basically, his sword of style, he says, it's the Mumio Jinpu Ryu, or known as the sword of the devil wind. Hold on. Okay, it was the sword of the devilish wind, which Isuzu was like, huh? He goes, basically, it requires, well, it's somewhat similar to what the name is. You'll learn as you go. But okay, I'm just gonna go on basically what I seen from the anime and from the manga. Basically, it's just like it's like a second coating of wind, and he's able to use it to basically move faster than I can see. And he's supposed to be on strikes and power. So I think Yang. It's like there's a Yang and then there's like a Yang version. So yeah, I'm just gonna go with that because this is like long and I haven't gotten to the good parts. So yeah, so basically Izuku says, "All right, when do we start?" He goes like, "As soon as you get that blade, that blade forged and fixed and gets sharpened. All right." He was like, "Yeah, sure." So basically, Izuku puts the sword into the sheath, and Kyo was still there. He was like, "All right, follow me." I was like, huh? He was like, blacksmith behind the this temple, on the temple grounds. So I'll show you. And so Zuko follows Kyo all the way around the temple into the back, and there's a pathway. They follow it, and it's getting pretty late. He texts his mom. He'll be about home soon, hopefully. And yeah, she says, "All right, just don't stay out late. It's not a school night, so it's all right. Just don't stay out till 12:30." He's like, "Sure, mom, whatever." He says, "Sure, mom." So yeah, Kyo just says, "So, what's that called?" As he points to the phone. He basically says, "A cell phone." He was like, "Oh, what's it do?" He was like, Zuko explains. He was like, "All right, I've been in spirit form for a very long time, and I only know a few things about the world of today. That's all." It's like, "All right, so how far we got?" He was like, "Oh, just a few more feet. It's just like not that long." As next thing you know, they get to the blacksmith. As it is a yokai. He was like, "Oh, Kyo, seems you found a suitable person for the blade, to be unsheathed." He was like, "Yeah, seems that this kid's ready, or should I say, is worthy enough to even use this blade." His eyes wasn't red, so it's gonna be a while for that to happen. He was really. Can I see how the sword's been after all these years? That's basically Kyo says, it's not that great. It's rusted a little. So, he just fix it up and get it sharpened and polished and all that. That'd be great. We gotta have a lot of people to kill sometime soon, so hey, we have this sharp tool, well, be able to cut free like the devilish when it is. As Zuko just says, I'm not really big on killing, but hey, if it's need to be done, it's need to be done. So, whatever. Yeah, as he basically unsheaths the sword, and all of a sudden, his hair's starting to go black, and his eyes are turning red. Which Kyo and the blacksmith is shocked by this. He goes, "Huh. I guess it was the second time you need to unsheath it. Alright, give him it." And so, Deku gives the sword to the blacksmith. He was like, "Yeah, I've all it's been in there for about 12,000 years or so yeah, it needs good, work." And then Kyo asked, "How long would it take?" He was like, not long. It needs work, but because of that spell well, mage slash, not that, that wizard, that magician put on it, it lasted pretty long. Actually, the shrine maiden put on it, it lasted pretty long. Look, Kyo, if it was another 2,000 years, his sword will be completely rusted and hard to work with. And Kyo just smiles and says, "You're lucky, kid." So Deku just smiled and he goes like, "Alright, get to work." And he goes, "Right away, boss." And so it was only like 7 o'clock when he got to the temple and everything happened. So the blacksmith only takes about an hour to fix it. Because he wasn't really, there wasn't really that much, but he just needed to resharpen it, reforge it, basically rework it and everything else to make it a lot stronger. And, Kyo was alright. He wasn't affected by that, so, and he basically even redesigned he fixed a lot of it, to make it look like it was brand new. And what happens is, he says, "Alright, here you go, boss. It's all done and fixed. Have fun." Izuku says thanks. He puts the sword back into the sheath, and then his hair staying black, but his red eyes are gone. And he was like, "Huh. So the red eyes gone?" And the blacksmith and Kyo just nod their head. He was like, "Alright, let's get out of here then." So basically, Kyo and him talk on the way home. Oh, Kyo's talking, Zuko just answers, like, he's asking like, any yes and no questions. Saying, like, "Are you going to be, no, Kyo tells him about himself at first. Then then Zuko starts answering yes and no questions. And a lot of it was like, has he had a girlfriend? No. Has he wanted to, have a girlfriend? He was like, no. Has he, wanted to become, basically a warrior? Zuko said no. Kyo was kind of shocked well, not really shocked, but he's kind of like confused. Then how is this kid able to pull a sword if he has no will to become a warrior? So, you know, and when Zuko gets home, Inko doesn't really see the sword in his hand. Because, well, since he said he was going to be home late. Hold on. Okay, so yeah, so basically, Zuko gets home. Inko doesn't know it's just a sword in his hand. She says dinner will be ready since he got home late. It was like 7. The sword took an hour, so he gets home around like 8:45. He says sorry for being out so late. She says no, it's no problem. You have been hanging out with your friends, and they accepted you for having no quirk and all. She always reminds him that. So yeah, so basically, she asked, were you accepted into UA? He was like, yeah, but I'm not going in. She goes, oh, but can you at least try to? He was like, Mom, we talked about this already. Bakugo, I'm not gonna be in a school with him in it again. She was fine. Just don't do anything stupid then. It's like, when have I ever do anything stupid? She was true. Well, whatever, just get ready for, wash up for dinner. As he walks away, puts his sword into his room, gets changed, and Kyo just says, is that your mom? He says, yeah, she's nice and all. Can't believe I'm actually having a real life sword in my room and the spirit talking to me of an ancient samurai who slew 1,000 men, who basically is a legend in history. He goes, wait, really? I was like, yeah, actually, you're a part of his story. My mom always told me it, actually. Don't know why. Says my dad told her about the story and the history of a man called Demonized Kyo. It's passed down through his home for years, actually. It's a tradition that we always tell them of the day where he became a great warrior that saved the world and he lived a normal life with a girl. It's funny that I'm talking to this same guy. And I assume, I'm going to keep some stuff secret, so yeah, this is something I want to say, but yeah, and Hasashi's not in the picture, he died, they know it, and Hasashi told about demonized Kyo to Inko, which Inko somewhat told him as a bedtime story. Like, Hasashi has wrote a story of demonized Kyo and, what he done and what his legend's about. So yeah, so basically, Izuku only knows bits and pieces of the story, but that's because of, well, it wasn't everything of his life, but just his journey. Enough of it was like nothing like what Kyo told him, but some of it added up, so he believes him. I mean, his mother did say the story was like, so the original story was somewhat gory, so for a bedtime story, he made it somewhat downgraded. So yeah, so basically, Kyo just laughed at that, and he goes and eats dinner and such, and basically what happens next is it's simple. Zuko, the next day just starts training, and throughout the 10 months, Izuku basically trained with the swordsman style of the Hold on, sheesh. Munyo Jinpu Ryu. He basically learned how to fight with that style. At least half of it. He's not a master of it yet, but he learned enough of it, and he has gone real fighting skills because he's gone out and fought villains. Well, dangerous ones, and he's basically has been saving people. He's been making a name for himself. They call him the Demon Eyes. And that's all he had. Like, that's all they say of him. They say he's a person that comes in out of nowhere. His eyes are crimson red as soon as you can see with his sword drawn out. He comes in overpowering basically so many people. Like, if there's like 20 people, he overwhelms them easily. Kyo somewhat influenced Izuku's body. Oh, somewhat influenced his body because of the training he's been given him. He's been training him to go past human levels of capabilities, what a true demon could be. And for some weird reason, Kyo could sense, could feel like he has some of his own personality of Kyo in him. Like, somewhere deep down inside, this kid reminds him of a younger version of him, but in a different situation, a different world altogether. He's not ruthless. He does spare villains' lives, but he goes after the most dangerous villains of them all and just kills them on sight, basically. He doesn't leave that many people alive. He has saved many people. He's called to the police after what he's done, and they just say it's like a massacre. What he's done to the villains that deserved it. They and the survivors just say someone in black couldn't see much, but only his eyes. Those piercing crimson eyes. It was like I was seeing the eyes of a demon. And basically, he only learned only like one technique. So let me tell you what it is here. So basically, he has learned Misuchi. It is, well, it's hard. I mean, I've been kind of looking at something, but the technique is called Misuchi. And how can I describe it? Well, I have the chart. So it's basically a Masuchi is a technique that allows him to use the wind to cut basically his opponents. So also there is a way for magic, but I'm modifying it to be the way of quirks. So it's so basically how can I say this right? Freak. I need to go back and read that. Read it. And then there's Synchro that someone that uses a magical attack, which I'm changing to quirks, he can turn them against them. So basically, Zuko has learned those two techniques. There's a lot of other things, but it requires him he needs to work on his willpower. He needs to work on he can even make like somewhat of a barrier. That's because of the power of the sword. It's because of what Kyo can do. So the sword, anything Kyo can do now, Zuko could do, but he has to train. And so during these 10 months, that's all he has done. He has slain villains. He saved a lot of people. He has made a name for himself, and he's not doing it for hero work. And when the UA exam comes up, Izuku doesn't go. He basically packs up his bags. He basically packed up a bag with everything he has. That basically he only needed. But he already found a place from one of the people he saved was actually a person who was an ex-villain. Well, actually, who was a villain that these people just kidnapped, and they had a base or place for Zuko to live with. And so, Zuko just, doesn't go to high school. He basically is walking away, and his mom knows. She goes, "So you're leaving, huh? Not even gonna try to become a villain? I mean, not even gonna try to become a hero?" He goes, "Mom, I don't have a quirk. Besides, I already know you know about the sword, so they won't even let me use it. The sword has power beyond belief. For me to even use it, I'll have to basically dull the blade out, and and for me to even use it at its full power, it requires me to basically kill. So I can't become a hero." She goes, "So you heard the demon eyes killer, the one who's been saving people's lives and all, and slaying villains? He goes, I don't like to do it, but I found out what they'd done and I couldn't stand it no more. So, yeah. Okay, so where I was at, yeah. So he says about the sword, he already knew about it and it requires me to kill, blah, blah, blah. She goes, but still, you can at least try to become a hero. You can. I believe in you, Suku. And he goes, thanks, Mom, but as he basically has only a book bag, and the villain, the ex-villain's already out there waiting for him. Well, she's waiting for him. As basically he basically only flicks a sword up, basically just like have it get like unsheathed before so that we can pull it out. Like when you see those ancient samurai movies, basically they basically move it upwards just a little and it's like just partly out, a little bit out, so that way they can get the blade out easier. As then his eyes goes crimson red, he goes, I am not no hero. I am the villain that the society needs, and I will be it. I'll make an area of this city that there will be no crime and everyone will be safe, and everyone will fear the name. Demon Eyes Kyo again. And her eyes widen as then she sees Kyo right behind him, just smiling. He goes like, and she even hears him says, that is Zuko. Don't let no fear, no one tell you what you can do or can't. Be what you want. As she just starts crying because she's seeing her son as more of a, well, she's seeing her son not as the kid anymore, but as someone else, she thinks. For a minute. Just a minute. Actually, a second. And then she realizes this is her son now. He didn't change because of the influence of the sword. But she asked, is it the sword? And he was like, nope. It's because I found about heroes and villains. It was all black and white. There was no justice in what heroes do. And there was some justice what villains did. It's all black and white, though. So, what's the point of being a villain, or a hero? As in, she's like, just puts the sword back in all the way as his eyes just turn back to normal, green. And he says, Sarah, Mom, look for me in the news. Or in the newspaper. Who knows? I'll make front page. It's basically he just walks away. And so, like, he walks out the door, Inko just drops to her knees, just crying, saying, my baby boy's gone. And he just gets down and he walks into the car of the ex-villain. And she basically says, your mom? He says, yeah, let's go. And they drive off. He goes, oh yeah, I never asked you what's your name. She just says, my name is, well, Tamari. It's nice to meet you. He was like, Kyo. It's not my real name, but suitable, right? She goes, yeah. For you, that is. He goes, what do you mean? He goes, no, nothing. He goes like, whatever. Let's just go anyways. So after just an hour driving to get to her apartment, he just says, I'm 14 and how old are you again? She goes, I'm basically in my mid 40s. I'm about to become, I'm actually 40. I'm going to be 50 soon. I was like, wow. Why did you retire from being a villain again? She goes, I was forced to be a villain, so I retired after soon I got my freedom. It was like, huh, alright. So, how am I gonna start my organ? I need to start becoming a villain, so I need some cash. Got any leads on some things I can do? She goes, I got some old contacts that you can probably use and such. He goes, alright. Hold on. He does ask though, so what's the contacts like? Weapons dealing, armor making, information, stuff like that. She goes, yeah, a few of them are, a few of them aren't, but I'll just give you some. And Zuko just says, I'll work with what I have. So basically, during this time, Izuku has gotten information on some villain jobs, like people who hire for assassinations, people who will hire just to rob stuff, people who just will be a distraction. And hey, he basically says he'll only go after crooked heroes as the hit jobs, in which there's a lot of them. And so he goes after a hero. Well, this has been like a month, and he's been on the news for robbing a bank. Basically, his sword was able to cut right through basically the vault, and he's been trained also. Heck, there's even some villains. Like, there's actually a freaking mad scientist. Well, not a mad scientist. An ex-scientist who was expelled for as in the community of science for his because of a false rumor was made about him. Well, a false information was spread about him by another person, another scientist that was jealous. So his career was ruined. So basically, he kind of wanted to end his life, but Izuku saved him. And well, he owed Izuku like some favor, but actually he said he owed me a favor, but he says no, I'll owe you my life. So basically, he helps Izuku with his training. Basically, he tells like everything what Kyo is telling him, and explains in detail of each like technique or form he has to perform and such. And he increases his like training to be on the human level to be a lot. Like basically now he's able to cut through a metal sheet that is 5 times thick. And so you wonder how's that possible for a normal sword back in the age? Heck, I was saying he asked Kyo if he can modify the sword to basically able to have an edge that allows it to be able to cut through metal with ease. And Kyo says, I want to see what he can do to the sword. So yeah. So basically he modified the sword a little bit, only to have an edge that's basically pure, like, basically if you can think of the beam katana, but it's just on the edge. And there's like, and plus it technically doesn't have a power source. Well, it does have a power source, but they found a way how to keep it constantly, like, just going wherever he needs it. But since Izuku could end everything in basically a couple of minutes, the power source is like always rechargeable because as soon as he puts it into the blade in the sheath, it recharges all the way. Because they do a friction. There is a area from where the blade comes into the sheath. It basically recharges it, and even when and plus it goes like the energy from the beam along the blade goes into that area, and then when it absorbs it, say that it gets a little bit of a energy, it sucks the energy from the beam, it goes back into like then the area where it actually has the beam shoots through, and it puts all the energy back into it, and that's how it even ignites it too. And so, like, that's how Zuko has been taking on some jobs for robbing stuff, even his own, and he's became the villain. Like, the heroes realize that the Demon Eyes, was actually a villain, not a vigilante. He was just taking down competition. But why did he save people? To throw them off, they think. No, Zuko just saved them because, well, he wanted to, and plus, he's the villain that people need. He's the hero that will do villain work. But it's what he does is the hero way. So Zuko basically has stolen money. He's basically take what he needs. Then he found out. Then basically what he does is though, Tamari, has been helping out Zuko. She lives in an area where there's like homeless people and such, not good places, and so like he's been taking down this crime that's there. And there's like a couple of gangs in that area. And so one day, and so basically though, the assassin mission was doing that. I started coming off of that, but basically Izuku basically though has to kill a pro hero that's one of the in the 20 mark. Let's just say this one's a big giant hero. It has a enhancement strength quirk, but it also allows his muscles to grow. So, Zuko, walking up this hero has been, has actually caused destruction in his fights, and not even care about civilians, and some have actually died to him, and he says the villain did it all, because he always fights villains that have like big flashy quirks, so that way it's easy for him to get away with accidental kills, which then he can always blame it on the villains. And so Izuku was just walking up to him with the sword in his hand. And this is like and he was like a night timer, because it's less like no one will be able to see how much like what he does at night, so he's being a smart one. So basically Izuku just coming up to the hero during the middle of a fight, as he says, "Villain, I'm gonna make sure you never, see the light of day." As there are a couple of civilians around, and the villain is actually protecting the civilians. This one is just a villain who actually takes small jobs that not many people around, so that way no one gets hurt. And so, he robbed basically a jewelry store at night, and this hero is just just trying to basically capture him, but he doesn't care about the consequences of his actions. So, he doesn't care. He knows civilians are there. He doesn't care. As then, as Zawa's getting onto this scene, and the hero doesn't know about it, and then Izuku just comes out of nowhere through this alleyway, and he sees the villain, and then he has the crimson eyes on. The blade is already out with a beam, and he goes, the demon eyes villain, and basically. The villain backs away. He tells the civilians, "Get out of here." They go, "But you're right." He goes, "I never care if I'm a villain. I don't like killing people. Just go." And then he's getting ready to fight, Zuko, as he nods his head, and then he points his blade at the hero, as the hero goes, "Huh?" And then he sees the demon eyes, as he goes, "So you're the demon eyes villain, huh? I can't wait till I send you to prison to get famous." As then, all of a sudden, Izuku is just walking right past him. As then he says, hold on. He says this. One of the lines I find the most awesome. He says, You heard it too, didn't you? The voice of the wind. So let me just double check. As basically, I got it right. So basically, though, the hero was like, "What?" As then all of a sudden, the hero's been cut into pieces. Not gonna lie. I'm not gonna say how, or many, but basically the villain was like, "What the?" And then Izuku just puts the sword away. He already had this. He basically was putting the sword away, and then he just tells the villain to go while the demons are activated. He tells him to scram and leave whatever you have there. Actually, no. He basically sees 2 bags. He says, "How much is in one bag?" He goes, "One bag has about 2 billion worth of jewels in it. Our bag has the same thing amount." He goes, "Client, or just doing a job for yourself?" He goes, "Myself." He goes, "You mind, giving me one of them?" He was like, "Sure, here, man. I don't want no trouble." He was like, and then he basically goes saying, "The guy's watching us. Because there might be another pro hero. Drop one bag and run. I'll grab it and I'll go the other way, right?" He's right. He goes, and then he basically the villain just drops the bag. Izuku just puts fully shapes the sword and just grabs the bag. And runs to the bag, grabs it, and just run. As the villain just says, "You sure you'll be alright?" He nods, and they split off. As this villain goes like, the demon eyes was so kind. He said he's ruthless. I don't want to get on his bad side. As basically, is this hero is a Razorhead, as a Hubble, he goes, gotta go after the demon eyes. Basically he has to go after the villain with the crimson red eyes, the demonized villain. As basically the demon eye. Well, they call him the demonized demon. I mean, the crimson eyes demon. So yeah, I just say call it demon eyes, but I meant the crimson eyes. So basically, he says I have to go after the crimson eyes demon. As basically then, he's basically he's going after him. He's following him, and then Izuku cuts a corner, and then basically Izawa goes onto the top of the rooftop, and basically he just follows him until he goes underneath like he has to go over a building because there's like a little alleyway that cuts through, as then all of a sudden, like Azawa gets down on the floor, the ground level, and then he's like already have the bandages out, and he goes like, thinks I got him now. So he waits for a couple of minutes, and Zuko's not there, so he thinks maybe he doubled back. So basically, he runs through there real quick. He's just checking. Zuko just disappeared. Unknowns to Aizawa, there was basically a secret passageway that only, like, Tamaru would know. So, yeah. So basically, he basically found it during that little, like, when buildings came together where there was not much room for Aizawa to see. So, yeah. So basically, he found that little passageway through, and he escaped Aizawa with 2 billion worth of jewels for yen. So basically, he gets back to Tamaru's place, and so Tamaru says, "So, was the assassination complete?" He goes, "Yeah." Oh yeah, basically, he basically like gets on the computer that Tamaru set up with the black market and such. He contacts the client. He goes like, "He's dead. You'll see it on the news. Just transfer the money over to the account, and then we'll be good." And the real client says, "Thank you, basically he says, "Thank you for everything. You're a hero in my eyes." He goes, "I'm just a villain who needs money. That's all." He goes, so then he hangs up. So basically what happens, so Tamaru says, "So what's in the bag?" He goes like, "Oh, 2 billion worth of jewels." She goes, "Wait, what?" He goes, "Yeah. The guy was robbing a bank, robbing a jewelry store. He did the most expensive jewels there, actually." She goes, "Let me see." So basically she looks at the jewels and she is in shock. She says, This is actually 2 billion, right?" He goes, "Yeah, funny enough, right?" He goes, "Of course." So basically they go onto the black market, and they find a villain basically somebody who will exchange this for money. And so, they contact him. He says he'll be there tomorrow, which, they basically go to bed, and then the next day, he's knocked on the door. It's actually an old friend Tamari's. So, she hugs him. She says, "It's been a while." He goes, "Yeah, it's been a while. So, let me see him." And so, basically, he already has everything set. He basically sets up everything to basically view the jewels and see how much they're worth. And he goes, 2 billion exactly. All right, here's the money. And actually, no, he goes physical or deposit it into checking into your account. He goes deposit, it'll be a lot more easier. Okay, sorry about that. My dad came down. Made his coffee. So, anyways, that too. The what if? Yeah. So basically, the guy transfers money to an offshore account, and then through he says, "Pleasure to do business with you." He walks out and leaves. So tomorrow, goes back on the computer, tries to see if it was transferred. It was right. It went in right away. So she starts to deposit into an account that Mizuku made. And well, he says you take about nine nine hundred nine 9,000, no, not 9,000. I said 2 million. So basically, he says, take out 2,000 yen for yourself. She's like, "Wait, what is rent money?" She's, "Oh, all right." So she transfers 2,000 to her account. For multiple, different accounts. Basically, that takes a little bit of time. And then she puts the rest in Izuku's account in Japan. She just says, since he's like 14. She says he's basically she's a part of it. So yeah, we use Kyo Mibu Kyo Mibu, just those an alias name. So, anyways, this is going on for a while. Everything in though the UA goes somewhat similar, but I am having the USJ attack 5 months later. So this is gonna be like in part 3, the USJ attack is gonna happen. So yeah, but anyways, so Izuku is training more. He's learning more techniques. His willpower is becoming very strong. His he learned how to make the barrier, like I said, but he's improved on it. He has learned to do the Mumo Shimpu Ryu Yogi. It is a technique that allows Izuku to allow him basically to deal damage into the enemies in a unique way. So it's like the Shindu. It's the basic techniques of the Shinshin, and it's their advanced stealth techniques. So he learned that. He has learned how to do another attack and another one. Hold on, I can't remember them all, so I always have to keep on pausing. I apologize for that. Oh yeah, he's also learned how to fight with the sort of Yang, the style of Yang, basically. And another technique, I should have said it, but it's Kuzoyoi. Oi? Let me just double check that. Kaznooi was. And one of the advanced techniques he has learned, Byaku, it basically allows him to make a white tiger that will tear the opponents apart. So basically, he has learned that. He has learned, he keeps on learning a lot more techniques, so this will be over time. Some abilities are basically like, killer intent slash aura, which will basically make weaker opponents or stronger opponents fear him, depending. And he has already been able to do this since the beginning when he started his training. The more he trained, the more his aura and killer intent becomes. So yeah. And his willpower keeps on growing. Kyo has been amazed by Izuku's development also. So yeah. But now Izuku does have a large sum of money. So he's thinking maybe he should go on a hunt now. And Tamari says, "What are you gonna do?" I was like, all the gangs around here? It keeps on terrorizing the business of people, along with keep on one scared and such, and the poor, are getting beat up and hurt or worse. And she goes, "Yeah, I mean, I've been tempted to leave this place, but there's a couple of people here that I've been, protecting, so I couldn't." As Izuku basically looks like Kyo nods. And he says, the, the Crimson Eyes demon is coming for them. Let's have some fun. As then Kyo just grins and goes like, this is going to be surprisingly interesting. And so this will happen. As Izuku walks out, Tamari can already tell that there is going to be a lot of police officers here. And so he finds a couple of grunts of one gang member organization, as basically, they ask him, "What do you need to know?" As then he basically he doesn't his own strength, so basically he can just throw a punch and the guy goes flying. So basically that's what he does. He throws a punch into the guy's face as he goes flying into a wall. The guy goes, "Why you?" And then he just hits him with the sword, basically. The sword, the handle, where it's flat, he just hits him with that. And, basically it's just on the ground. And he goes, I thought I made myself clear. Tell me, where's the base? This guy says, "Never." As then he just kicks the guy in the face, sends his face into the wall. As then he just starts beating on the guy with his foot, just stomping on, just starts kicking him. As the friend just watching in horror. as he doesn't need to have the red eyes and the glare just happens. As the guy's already terrified, he goes, "Now tell me." He goes, it's over there. Just go 2 streets. No, just go past 2 streets. Make a right, and it'll be inside a building with boards on it and such." He goes, "Thank you. You two will live." He's, "Oh," and then he unsheaths the sword. The beam comes on. The red eyes activate. He goes, "You're the Crimson Eyed Demon." Yes, yeah. And Deku just walks away. And so as soon as he gets to the base of the gang, he goes in, and 30 minutes later, he comes out. And everyone heard shooting and banging sound, and he comes out unscathed. There's only like 2 more games left. He goes to each one and comes out unscathed. And then, like, the cops are called, and by each person that was in that location, he always leaves 2 of their goons alive. 2 of the grunts alive, and then that's it. Like, they call the cops, and the amount of people that were, and like all the money of the people that were like taken from the police gave it all back to them. Heck, even some of the people that were like robbed by them got even their stuff back. And so basically each area had the sign of the Crimson Eye Demon. And so at the last one though, it says this town is under my protection. Every gang member who heard about it, they who were planning to try to take that area from those 3 people, those 3 powers in that area, basically don't ever come near, not even villains. If it's like the people that were basically the same guy that killed those villains when he just started, then they don't want nothing to mess with him. And basically, the shops in the areas have gone their profits up. Izuku basically has helped them out to rebuild and such. He has helped out the poor, to basically get clothing and shelters. And yeah, there has been a lot of improvements. And in just a few days, but there's gonna be still more. So it's gonna take a month. It's gonna take like a month. So Izuku goes around doing stuff, different jobs, different heists, different basically everything for about a month to improve this area of the town. Inko has heard about it. She has seen the body count Izuku has, but she has also heard about the news saying about the Crimson Eye Demon and his investments to help out the people, to give homes, shelters to different ones, even rebuilding parks and such for the children in these areas. It's amazing that a villain is doing all this. Heroes have been given a bad name. Heck, the cops even found some heroes actually had affiliation with these gangs, and never letting them do whatever they want. So those heroes got arrested. Heroes were given a bad name. And Bakugo to UA, he's been hearing about this. He doesn't know what's going on. Mitsuki heard about what Izuku did to Bakugo from about. She basically didn't believe it. So one day, while Inko has been they're on the news, Macy came over when she was over there, and she goes, "Whoever is this?" And Inko just says, "I don't know, but I always like to hear about this, about this person, what he's doing." And Mitsu's wondering why. She says, "Have you found Izuku?" She goes, "No, I don't know where he is. It's Bakugo. He always told me bullied him. And one day he just snapped," he said, during the 5th month after school was over. Then Mitsuki put it together. She goes, "So he was the one who beat Bakugo, and he came back with all bruises on his face and such. And Inka was in shock. Well, pretend no, because she didn't know about this. Well, he did say he did snap, so she didn't know how rude. So basically, Mitsuki told her about it, and Inko felt proud of him. This is who he was, and she didn't know. He hid it from her, but he proud he fought back. He proud he did something. And Misi says she's sorry for what her son did. If she knew, she would have strained him out. She says no problem. And so that will, let's just say, this is like 2 days later. Misi's back over just helping out Inko, and Tamari and Zuku walking up all the way up to the apartment of Inko, and he has a sword in a guitar case. So basically, he just knocks on the door. So Inko goes over, and well, Izuku found a way had to basically had changed his eye color. But anyways, so basically he when Inko opened up the door, she sees him. He goes, "Hey mom, it's been a while, huh?" It's been about no, it's been about almost a month. So yeah, and Inko just hugs him. She's saying she's so proud of him for what he's doing, and Tamara's just smiling. And she goes, "Who's this?" He goes "Oh, this is that friend of mine that was an ex-villain. I mean, we help out the areas that I've been protecting. No one ever comes around. Heroes been getting a bad name because of me." But anyways, is anyone here with you? And Mitsuki, comes around the corner and says, "Zuko, is that?" Because he changed. He got a little bit taller, and he's a little bit more muscular. He goes, hey, Mitsuki, what's up?" She goes, "Nothing much. You?" He goes became a villain. Her eyes wide. She goes, "Well, the next thing he activates the demon eyes, well, the crimson eyes." And she goes, "You're the crimson eye demon." Have a problem with that? She goes, "No, you've been helping people as a villain." He goes, "You gotta do what you gotta do to survive. And I couldn't let no one die, and I know I can't save no one." And Kyo says, the first lesson, you can't save everyone. And he goes, "Oh, wait, correction, I can't save everyone. I can save people. So, I just can't save everyone." She just smiles. And basically what happens is, she goes over and she takes a good look at Zuku's, she's looking at Zuku's face. And she goes, "I bet every girl, and then after that she says, I bet every girl, that sees you walking down the streets always thinks you're a catch." And even Inko agrees, and Zuko just says, "I'm not really looking for a girlfriend. I mean, I'm a villain. I'm a villain. I don't, want to have a girlfriend that, would get in trouble." Mitsuki just laughs, so does Inko. So they talk, and Tamara tells her what Izuku's been doing. He's been managing some shops, helping them out. There was a flower shop that was ruined because of the gang in that area. He helped rebuild it and such, and people have been getting the area to be coming back to what it was before the gangs happened, which it was a very bad neighborhood. He fixed it to be basically very, very safe. There is not even, he basically has a networking system in there. If anything happens, he'll know, which is terrifying to people now. He basically built that. And well, yeah, so basically he built that, and that is something he has actually got a secret. He actually has his own base. And it's just him and Tamari, but there's been people who have came to him. Some villains that were, well, some people that became villains, they wanted to work for him and such. And his motto, his thing is, we don't kill people. We don't kill people, that don't deserve it. So basically, if we find people that are villains, we kill them. We find heroes that killed people and don't on purpose, we kill them or use their power for misjudge, for bad, for basically using it for doing bad things, basically misusing it. And they're okay with it. They asked about the robbing jobs and such. He says, "Oh, we do those too, but we only take like enough to survive off of. We don't do much. The minimum I'll take is 1,000 yen, and the most we'll take is 5,000. That's it." And they're like, "All right." And so yeah, they asked about the rules. Well, they asked mostly about him. Will he be going to jobs and such? And he was like, "Yeah." And it comes together pretty good. You know, they've actually helped. They actually rebuild some houses. They actually make like homeless shelters, orphanage, and other things that the place needed. And so, they Hero Society, kind of hates the Crimson Demon. Villain Society's kind of liking what he's doing. So, other villains are actually doing it, protecting the areas that they live in, like like from gang members or other crimes that are harming people and such. And he's redoing the whole entire villain society, and their people and the people of society, the regular towns, the regular people. Ginko Mitsuki has been hearing that they've been calling him the villain hero, and he just says, I do what I do. That's all. Nothing more, nothing less." They just laugh. So after all of that, they leave, and we're gonna do a little bit of a time skip to at least 2 months. Other organizations of villains have joined him. Some heroes actually work with him now. He's became very big, and so Deku has become a villain that is feared throughout the world. Well, not feared throughout the world. Is a villain who's feared by most. Well, not the big shot villains, though. Not many. But hey, that's where I'm gonna leave it off, though. I hope you enjoy this. I'm doing this just a hero/villain route, though, but he's mostly gonna be a villain. Also, someone tell me about the ship. But I'm not doing like Mirko or the Dragon Hero one, or like Midnight. Would take anyone really else. But anyways, I do hope you all enjoy this what if. So yeah. Anyways, bye everyone. Be safe out there.